Yeah, it's a handy old setup now.
So, how are you finding this month trial of communism? Fantastic, isn't it?
Oh, it's great, hey. That's the sad thing. I kind of enjoy it. Like, do you know, the community about the place is.
Yeah.
I'm seeing people that I haven't seen in a long time. You know.
The funny thing is, the people I'm seeing complain about this the most, it's the same people that sat on their arse non-stop, never left their house, and watched fucking X Factor. These are the
That's
ones
it. Like,
that have to stay in the house now. Like.
yeah, it's like the what you call it, the the easiness of it. You know, nipping down to the shop is gone. Like, you know, you have to actually kind of plan what you're going to do for the day and kind of have things stocked up and ready to go. Like, you know,
I'm trying to stretch it out with me hour of exercise a day and go out on the bike out in the countryside. And then I'll go past somebody's house and he has to sign up, support the health workers, stay inside. Excuse me, you live in the countryside. I live in a fucking council estate.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you know, like I do feel for people that's like, especially people like kids living in a council estate or something. It must be tough, like, to keep them entertained.
I think it's kind of weeding a bit now. There seem to be more people out and about than there was.
Yeah, we've been blessed with good weather. Like, they're saying, you know, it's going to last for another while. Like, you know, it's nice. Like, I'd be out doing a bit outside, like, and you'd be seeing these families coming walking up the road all happy together in the good weather. And it's like, you know, there's definitely a silver lining to be had here. Like, you know.
What's the prognosis with the weather? Will it help to fight the virus or not? And that's before we get into how real the virus is or not. Well, it's a big argument's happening, but
yeah. Well, the evidence, like, see, like, you had it in Singapore and it got locked down pretty quick, but you see, like Italy, you know, it'd be kind of nearly our summer temperatures whenever it had the big spike, like, so it doesn't look like it's going to have a major effect.
They're probably like almost 30 degrees now. They wouldn't be far off it.
Yeah, that's it. Like, you know, it's I don't think it's going to have any kind of real tangible kind of aspect to it, but the way things are planning out now, the lockdown mightn't be as long as we're thinking. Like, I was thinking at the start, like, this is going to be, like, I was a bit of a naysayer. Like, I was like, this is going to be a long time. Like, but the way things are planning out, there's going to be a spike. Like, we know that. There's probably underreporting as well.
Yeah.
With people at home and stuff like that. So who knows? Like, it could burn out. I'm not an expert, like, but I've just been kind of watching this back whenever it was just a conspiracy theory according to the TV, you know, that kind of way. So that's my only. The
ironic thing is, well, the official numbers released for China, they don't look that bad compared to everywhere else, but they're obviously downplaying how bad it is.
I seen a thing there yesterday. It was China in Focus. Like, I know it's kind of it's like a pro-Taiwan station or whatever, but I was watching it last night just as I was going to sleep. They were saying that the Chinese have revised up the numbers quite drastically, like that, you know, testing afterwards and stuff has shown that it's a lot worse than they were actually letting on at the start. But the cat was let out of the bag anyway, like, you know, like the US Secret Service, whoever came out, or the intelligence agencies, and said, yeah, it's definitely 100% worse. Like, so.
I mean, I think it's real. Do I think it's been overplayed or not? It's hard to say. I think there's extra ulterior motives behind this. I think there is going to be a big financial reset, and it's kind of using this as the precursor to bring that about. But I can't really give massive evidence for that. But it seems that, I mean, it was Ian Duncan Smith was more or less saying something similar the last day. It was unheard of for a politician to come out with this stuff, just really demonizing China. And
yeah, that's it. Like, a lot of them politicians too, they're trying to grease wheels to get companies into China. Do you know?
Yeah.
Like, even the company that's quite famous at the moment, that was kind of nobody really bothered about it before. Like, they have a massive deal in China too. Like, they were tied in with the largest flower growers or flower exporters in China and stuff like that. You know, it's all grease and wheels. Like, but it just seems.
Isn't that basically why Italy's hit so hard around just...
Yeah, the leather trade.
And they've so many Chinese in that part where they've been hitting the northern Italy.
Yeah, there'll be plenty of flights coming in and out of the place. Like, you know, it'll be tight. Well, like, that's why I kind of think, you know, like, even Africa and stuff like that. You know, like, you have Ethiopia and like, say, West Coast Africa, and the amount of Chinese workers that you have, or businessmen even, going in and out of that area is huge. Like, but I was looking at stats then, like the pneumonia is quite a common thing in sub-Saharan Africa anyway. So it could just be slipping by through, like, just a slight increase or something in the pneumonia.
We'll
deaths
never
there,
ever get the real stats for Africa if it's hitting anyway, because they're not going to have the testing facilities. They're not going to have when their ICU units are going to be just non-existent.
Yeah, it's like, even what you call him, your man out of the chair of the WHO, or the Ethiopian fella.
Oh,
Even at the start, when all that stuff was coming out about, like, there was rumors that China were underreporting things, and then you looked at him, and he's the member of this, like, revolutionary communist party that, I suppose, I put my hands up, it's meant to shift it a bit more centrist in the last 10, 20 years, whatever, but it's still, like, it's a revolutionary communist party, really. And he's getting massive funding for centres of excellence in Ethiopia, like, and it's him covered for China. Then it's like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I can listen to you, really. Like, you got a conflict of interest going on there, like.
And of course, we're seeing all the blue checkmark Twitters really going after Trump for defunding the WHO. Well, of course, the WHO. How many millions did they actually put into the abortion campaign in Ireland? It was quite a lot.
Yeah, I wouldn't have the figure on me, like, but jeez, like, everyone and their mother was throwing money at that, like, Yeah, you had that James O'Keefe fella catching the Irish girl on hidden camera, working for Facebook or Google or whatever it was, like, saying, like, basically they're steering the election, that it has to go through and all this kind of stuff. It's like, holy moly.
If we actually saw the true figures for how much money went the other side, it would just be eye-opening, really.
Yeah, I remember one evening we started looking at it was Irish Aid. It's the Department of Foreign Affairs. Their funding for different NGOs and stuff throughout the world and different causes and all that. It was I think the Simon Cumbers Fund, and they're basically just greasing up young journalists, to write nice cushy stories about them. I thought that was just, like, it was a pure rabbit hole. Like, it was nice.
But that just sums up.
In with all them.
That just sums up modern day Ireland. That's what it is. It's just an NGO run fucking shop going straight. That's the iceberg already, I think.
Yeah, sure. You had that was an African delegate to the UN asking, does every person in Ireland work for an NGO? Like, and you look at the list of them, and it's like, Jesus, like, it's not far off. Like, it's so heavy. It's just jobs for the boys. Like, it's been going screwing everybody over to dump money, fake money, into these tin pot regimes to prop up some fucking waste of money that's just a drain, a pure drain. And Paddy just sitting back taking it. It's like, at what point does it just kind of? They got good PR going,
Oh, big time. I mean, you try to explain this to the ordinary man in the street that, well, it's like £1 billion of your taxes. It's going to prop up some African, two-bit dictator, and are you happy with that? And it's like, oh, well, it'll be fine anyway. Really?
Yeah, this is it. Like, like, even I remember whenever I first kind of started looking at this stuff, it was Lesotho was a big place for Irish funding going into Africa, and it's like it's as close to a warlord regime as you're going to get. Like, I think they still have a king, and he's basically sold his entire country to Coca-Cola. It's mental. Like, what, and we're dumping money into that. Like, it's crazy.
I know. Speaking of the COVID numbers, aren't we something like the 10th worst in the whole world? We keep hitting.
Yeah, I seen a thing there earlier. It was in countries between 1 and 5 million, we're number one across the board. Like, so for small nations, we're top dog.
That's that you got to look for the average per million citizens, and we're worse than America there. But from listening to our regime RT News, all you're going to hear is Trump, evil, terrible. Ireland's Leo's playing a blinder, of course. Like, but we're doing worse than America per capita easily.
Yeah. Like, our total cases is basically the same as India at the minute. Like, so it's that's a bit of a mad one. But nearly 3,000.
How do we compare with the rest of the little islands of our sort of population?
Well, like that's what I was saying. 1 to 5 million, we're top dog. Like,
Oh, but
we're
actual
number
islands
one.
as well, because we should have extra
Oh,
security.
islands. Oh, yeah, yeah. Sure, look at New Zealand. Like, where's New Zealand? They're somewhere
I think they're
way
5 or
near the
6
bottom.
million population too, so that's very similar.
Yeah, like New Zealand and Australia are like really good to compare against the UK and Ireland. Like the UK, sure, you had things like Cheltenham going on and all that kind of crack, and it's like, oh
Yeah,
god, lads, like who couldn't have seen that coming, you know? Except the guys that are paid big money to sort out this stuff. Like it's just mental.
it's funny enough.
I can't.
We flew in, what was it, 200 Bulgarians for the Keelan's fruit picking the other day. I think the same guy, Keelan's, he is the head of the horse racing for Ireland, isn't he? I think
Yeah,
so.
that's him. He got part of that. That's 64 million that
64
time.
million.
Yeah, every time, or whenever they were, whenever the RT had the thing on about the greyhounds
Right.
getting culled after they're losing races. Like that's whenever he was getting money funding for the horse race and thing. Like
So
Like,
he's all tied in with Simon Coveney and everything. Like,
yeah, oh, buddy. Sure, it's the same big agri in Ireland. It's so powerful. Like you've the Goodmans and the Keelings and all these crowds, and it's like Jesus, that's some serious money floating
you
around
got the
there.
thick patties at the bottom, just propping it all up. Then
That's it. Sure, like what do we care? Oh, sure, €2 for a pack of strawberries. No, there's only 6 strawberries in the box, but sure, it's only €2. Do you know what? It's a very real roundabout kind of way of thinking about it. But
I mean, there's 50 calories in that. That's going to make all the difference. Like,
yeah, oh sure, this is it. Like you can hire an extra guy and get a subsidized wage from and everything. Like I'm told that the 200 that was flown in, that they're on getting welfare now at the minute during this quarantine. Like, but they're not even.
did you see like the? I didn't even realize it until I looked into this. They're basically running like a slum landlord whole setup there. They've got like
I wouldn't really doubt it. Like that's the way it works in England too. So I wouldn't imagine that we're much different than that. Like,
But the funny thing is, then the bourgeoisie, people before profit, sort of lefties, they're supposed to help the working class. Apparently, they don't see a problem with us. They're slum landlords paying them a pittance. Undercut the Irish working class, of course, again. But no, take the side of these Bulgarians, and this is when a lockdown's supposed to be fucking happening. I mean, it's just.
Actually, it's crazy. Like, sure, like you think about the size, absolute in just complete total terms.
Yeah.
You need 1,000 people on one farm, and then they're saying, "Oh, we can't get Irish to work there." It's like to get 1,000 people that are willing to work on like to get 10, no problem. You'll get them pretty much anywhere in the country. To get 1,000, like until they raise the wages enough that it makes less economic sense to build accommodation, charter a flight, find these people and shift them in. Like so, like this is. I just thought this was just absolutely amazing earlier. You have people like the Connolly Youth Movement, basically arguing in
people
practical
for the working
terms.
class, apparently.
Yeah, but they're arguing for what they would consider the far right solution to this problem. It's just an unbelievable time to be alive. Like, it's like you have they're saying, oh, Connolly Youth was like, oh, we want these workers paid €17 an hour. That's what they're like. Yeah, no. But anyways, they want a massive increase in wages, and it's like, right, well, if they raise the wage to €17 an hour, it's not going to be economically viable to fly 200 people in, give them free accommodation, and pay them that amount of cash. Like, so they're going to just hire Irish people anyway. But
Of course.
Because these people are kind of like so ideologically invested in this idea that they have of, like the kind of what would you call it, the virtue signal and kind of shield around this Connolly core idea, that they're just that like they could work with what they consider the right wing to get this pushed through, but they're so hard-headed about being right and being morally upstanding and all this kind of crack that they're just cutting off the nose to spite their face. Like, it's just unbelievable.
There's very few in the far left. When I actually really look down what they're supporting, it's just complete neoliberalism. It's just cheap labour to prop up the big capitalists.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, completely. The strawberry and champagne socialist, like, it's
what are Kevin's worth? They're worth something like 188 million, aren't they?
the company's 300 million,
That's
and
just
then
Jesus Christ.
yeah, the owners 100 million, and they pay their tax in the Isle of Man.
I've seen that. Yeah, Jesus Christ. But they can't pay an extra euro a fucking hour. And that I've been on minimum wage before. That makes all the difference when you are actually on that.
Yeah, like my thinking on it is there should be a basic minimum wage an hour, and then you get a bonus for productivity. So if you're collecting very little,
I think they actually have
like
something like that, but it's impossible to get the numbers they need.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, but like I was looking at that greenhouse.ie or something it's called. It's or greendoor.ie, and it's where they were advertising, and they were advertising it that the average wage is €8 to €9 an hour, and it's like, well, sure, that's how like what loopholes are they using there to get underneath the minimum wage? Like,
yeah.
Like who like they're like only whatever 40 people applied. It's like if you look through a job listing and it says €8 an hour. If you're living in Dublin, you're not going. You can't afford to look at that. Like like you could be sitting on a beanbag all day for work, and you still couldn't afford to.
I know in my younger days, I worked in a factory, and they were only paying minimum wage job, and they prioritised underage teens because the time was like $2.50 they were paying. I'm showing my age here. There was free wages, and it was just if you're over 18, you got $3.30 and $4.50 if you were over 25. But because those wages were so terrible, obviously. They were actually sending a team out to Poland to actually recruit more people. They got one or which ones in. And none of the locals had a problem with this at all. I couldn't believe it at the time. I was involved with a certain Republican group at the time, and I was saying, why can't we just make proper arguments here for real working class things are going to make a real difference to people like me, actually. At the time, I was under 18. I was 18 when I finished there. If I'd done 3 months' work, well, then I should get the same wage as somebody who's 25. At the time, would have got like an extra two quid an hour more than me. It's not much, but it's a very sensible policy, I thought. But they didn't want to know. Yeah. All they wanted to do was hand out fucking gay flyer fucking leaflets, nothing else. Like,
but I remember, I think it was back around the time the euro was introduced here. I remember there was a massive recruiting drive that they wanted Irish companies to hire Eastern Europeans. If my memory serves me correctly, I remember that, and like there was a lot of crooked stuff going on with that too. Like, there was companies being set up in Poland. And once like say one unscrupulous person got hired in a factory somewhere in this country, they'd start saying, my cousin or my sister or my brother, he needs a job. And what they'd do is over in Poland, they'd have a front operation where people are paying, the equivalent of us paying €1,000 or €2,000 to be put on this list to get brought over to Ireland to get a new job. Like, and it's like none of that was ever looked into. Like, there was a guy in my area, and he turned out to be bona fide, like, Russian mafia book. Like, he used to be a mechanic in the Iraqi army whenever Saddam Hussein was in charge. Like, he was a bad dude.
Must have been something.
He was mentally. He was in the newspaper a few times around here. The Democrat mentioned once or twice. Like, that was the kind of people that had the smarts to abuse this system, and the same thing's happening now in a different way. Like,
I had Russian Spetsnaz in my job and everything. Like,
sure. Like, it's the same with the DP Centre now. Like, and they're aided by lawyers and all these different NGOs, and like it's the same thing happening. And people are just like, trying to feel better about themselves. Like,
77. It's at least 77 million is going directly into DP from our from the budget this year, and that's before lawyer fees and yourself. Appeal list,
medical cards, everything like that. Like,
yeah,
sure. I seen there was a thing online earlier, and it was like, you've been here 4 years, let us out of DP, and it's like, well, they're not actually forced to stay there in the first place, and second of all, if they've been there 4 years, they've been refused at least 3 times for asylum. So it's like, just pack your bag. You're obviously not here under the correct terms, so why are you staying? And it's just you're giving everyone else a bad name too, because there is maybe there is people that get run out of their houses that isn't their fault, and they I think most people would in them cases help, for at least the temporary amount of time. Like,
well, see, that's the thing. I don't think I don't think many Irish would have a problem if it was a temporary thing. That's literally as it's advertised as. No, it isn't. Though it's just bringing them in to permanently resettle your village. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, sure. It was like, like there's solicitors and everything. That's their game. Is the immigration system? Like I remember on one of Gear Murphy's streams, he was on about a few of them. But basically, you can buy citizenship through different channels. You know, like what is it? This Chinese citizenship thing. Like where basically, if you invest a certain amount of money in the Irish economy, you basically just get handed the paperwork. Like,
it's funny you should say that. Actually, my first ever marriage proposal was when I was 14, working on a building site in London. Some guy wanted me to marry his woman to get her into the country. Like,
yeah. Oh, that's common. It is common. Oh, it's mental. Like, but sure, like as well, like because of the open borders in the EU, you have people abusing it too. That like there's cases where people go to Denmark because Denmark is incredibly lax marriage laws. Like basically, you just walk in, take a ticket, and just wait and sit there and get married. So you have people that are like, say, Latin Americans or Africans, whatever, and they can take a wee trip over to Denmark whenever they get caught, get married, pay out whatever cash they have to someone, get married, and then just get an EU license or an EU passport.
Membership. It's hampering everybody then. Like.
That's it. Like, a club for everyone's a club for no one. It's
how are these Brazilian students doing it? I'm always hearing about it. I see the numbers. I don't know what's the actual gimmick. How to getting in?
I was down in Dublin there, not last Christmas, the Christmas before, down visiting friends, and I stayed in a hostel just outside the city centre. And these were, them big Georgian houses, big fucking 3 or 4 stories, like, huge rooms in them. And virtually this huge street, like massive, was just completely all redone into digs and into hostels, all this kind of crack, for predominantly just the Irish or the language student market. Like it was all Spaniards, Brazilians, all that kind of crack, all young people moving into the area, like, but at the same time then you turn on the TV and it's the homeless crisis, we need 10,000, and it's like you could easily house 10,000 people.
There's just no will to do it.
No, not at all. It's absolutely brutal. Like, and it's the same people then that's saying, oh, these Bulgarians, they need help. It's not their fault. And it's like, look, no one's even barely talking about the Bulgarians. The Bulgarians aren't the problem. They're they're an effect of the problem. Like, it's not their fault.
Yeah,
but they're implicated in it. So, but just stop trying to make it into this racism thing as usual. Like, it's like, it really gets old.
If you're against the local working class being undercut, you're far right. You're right wing now.
It's crazy. Like, but that's why it goes back to that's why I'm so amazed that the Connolly Youth Movement is essentially just kind of doing the right wing thing, and it's mental. But it goes down to the end as well. Like it's the collapse of globalism. Like their ideology has failed, and failed absolutely fantastically. Like just like fantastic as in hugely. Like,
what do you think is going to be the aftermath if we come out of this COVID-19 lockdown?
That's a tough one. I think there's going to be a lot of pain. It's going to be the thing is that it's different than 2008 because they can't print their way out of it. Like we never really stopped printing our way out.
The inflation's gone up all the time, and I've seen the UK's done that already. They've printed. I can't remember how much billion. There's quite a few billion they've done the last few weeks. Like so.
Yeah, and even in America, Trump is having to parachute paychecks into people, and it's like, whew, that's tight when America's doing that. Like that's Great Depression era stuff. Like,
that's the most socialist debate since World War II, probably.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. It's funny, like, well, if not funny, but it's a case of now, like, like I remember, people will be talking about automation is gonna take our jobs, like, gonna put most of us out of work, and it's like. Now you look at the guys that have the money to to last through this thing and keep going. They're the guys that can afford to automate. It's what are we going to do with, like, say now if you invented a machine that you could just drive through a field and pick all the strawberries.
Yeah.
You know, like it's the same with like willow. You know, I remember a couple of years ago, people were complaining, farmers, especially in like the Netherlands and places like that, where they grow a lot of willow for home heating fuel, that they couldn't get an easy way of harvesting. But now you can build a willow harvester. Guy came up with a design, and you can build a willow harvester with some scrap metal in your back garden. Like, you know, it's so like a lot of people lost their jobs, but you know, you get good employers that find them something else to do and take on some other kind of aspect of work. Like, but
Sure, you just get the Wright brothers now. They'll fly a few Bulgarians, and you're laughing like.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like like I think personally. Like, I know it's already me saying it, but like people need to be thinking of like what is actually necessary, like what needs to be in their community, and start working at it. Like, you know, there's no, I don't think there's going to be any big, unless you want to work in like biomed or something and work in a big, you know, big conveyor belt for the next 40 years or 30 years, whatever it is. You got to get out and just get working for yourself, like, because you know. You make, what is it? The boss gets $1 and I get a dime. You know, you know. So
it goes, yeah. What would you say to people who's got a lot of money in the bank? Should they be putting that into equity, you know, or investing? Will money be worth nothing in 6 months?
I was chatting to a guy. He does pensions. He'd be kind of a big enough fella, but like he'd be handling a lot of money, like, and. I was asking him, like, you know, it was whenever people were talking about gold and silver suddenly appeared back on the scene as a topic. And he was saying that there was like a physical shortage of silver and gold in traders, like, you know, so it's, you know, people have it. It's and generally there are people that have, you know, an extra good few thousand knocking about, like,
yeah.
So,
yeah.
They might know more about the economic side than me, but I'd be wary. Like,
yeah, I'm worried about having any money in the bank now. It's substantial amount. They keep saying, the media keeps saying this is going to be the worst recession since World War II. Well, the price of an egg in World War II was £12. So,
yeah, I'm glad I have a couple of chickens now. could be coming out a lot better than I'm going in anyway.
You'll be a millionaire come the end of this.
Sorry?
You'll be a millionaire come the end of this.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Oh, here's hoping. But sure. No, I think. But like, it's different too. Like, you know, I'm happy. I'm glad I'm a rural kind of fella, because you know there's room there. Like, but I don't know how the cities are going to cope. Like, if you've housing estates of unemployed people coming out of this, like, how are you going to sort that mess out? Like, that's wild. You know, I don't envy whoever's going to have to try and sort this out. I don't envy their job. I've no doubt that they're going to make a mess of it anyway, the crowd that's in there, but they're not going to make it easy.
Getting a lot worse come the end of this. We've seen some of the shops put the shutters up now. I think most of them, they won't open again. We'll be just stuck with nothing but chains. It'll just be Tesco's, just be Lidl's, and Aldi's. It's not that far from that now as it is. I think this might really be the final nail in the coffin for that, which would be a shame to see, because there's very few villages in Ireland you can actually go now and just find the local shop, the local non-chain. It's almost gone.
Yeah, they've been killing the pub too. Like.
Yeah, they can handle this crash. The locals can't.
Yeah, the local pub would have typically been the crowd that, you know, traditionally would have filled in that road, like, you know, and you know, it's the community. Like, even in the Celtic Tiger, you had a lot of people moving out into the countryside. You know, they got a bit of cash, built a house, but there's still, it's not as it was. Like, and I'm not harking back to the days or anything like that, but it was just a lot of rural communities up until, you know, 2005, 2000, like around that kind of era. A lot of them families were there for 100 years or more, like, you know, and everybody knew each other, and they knew the family history, and they knew everything about everybody. And now it's kind of like, oh yeah, I know them, but you don't really know them. You know their, you know, the shape of their face and where they live, like, you know. But you might chat to them
so fast, because I've lived in, like I've said, I've lived in London, and you don't know the neighbours at all. You might walk past them for years, you wouldn't have a clue who they are. You would never speak. Just the sense of community just disappears so fast.
Like I remember it was actually John Waters that said this, and I kind of it rung true for me anyway. Is that he was on about multiculturalism at the time, but he was like multiculturalism works because people don't make eye contact, and I thought, Jesus,
That's an excellent. That actually is an excellent way to put it.
I paused the video at that point and thought about it for a while. That's how much it came out. I was like, Jesus, that says a lot there to me. Like, from living in cities for work and stuff, and it's just like, yeah,
Well,
that's definitely.
you see any country you go abroad to on holiday, you'll see the Irish pubs. All the Irish will just go there and they'll do their own thing. So of course, this has happened with every other community that comes in.
Yeah, look, it's like even there's what do you call that eco village then? It's always bloody on the TV. Clock Jordan, and like I don't want to get
What's
personal.
Clock Jordan? I'm not aware, but
it was a little village. It was where I forget his name now. Hang on, it's one of the revolutionaries who was from there. There's a wee statue on the side of the road. Well, anyways, one of the men in 1916 was born there. It's this little village in good farmland in just on the Offaly border.
yeah.
And anyways, basically what happened was a load of people from, like, say, Germany, Austria, that kind of area, basically built like a massive, like, ecologically green housing estate in the fields beside this village, and it's called the Clock Jordan Eco Village.
Yeah.
And there was three pubs in the village, and basically the mindset was different between the locals who lived there and the people who moved en masse, like, to this little village in rural Ireland. And it's the exact same problems you see with, it doesn't matter if they're African, doesn't matter if they're Asian, doesn't matter if they're German, it doesn't matter, as long as if you change the demographic of an area in such a short amount of time, you're going to create friction, like.
Yeah,
Do you know,
yeah.
and it was nothing to do with racism or anything like that. These guys were paler than me, like, But it was the same as you wouldn't pick me out of a crowd, kind of thing.
Yeah,
And it was, it's just amazing, like, that people think that you can, socially engineer this stuff for, the paperwork and sort this out, and in reality, like, it's
And
just
you're losing so
destroying
much,
local communities.
and you're never ever going to get it back again.
No, but like, it's at the stage now where the locals drink in two of the pubs, and then the other ones kind of commandeer the pub down the end of the street. Like, they don't really mix.
I found myself in Leitrim there about 4 months ago around election actually, and there's a village I was never at before. I can't remember what it was called. I was staying overnight. Went to one of the local pubs, and the one night they had a bingo night in the back hall. It was about the whole village was there basically, and then they had a darts competition after that. Everybody playing. Then a pool competition after that, and this was just like a weekday. And there's so much community spirit there, and it's just going to be just pushed to a side. Like, the thing is, I don't think they see what's coming, because if you're trying to appeal like a real nationalist message to these sort of people, because they don't see it outside of their village, and these are people most susceptible to the message, they're not going to get it though.
Yeah,
it's a catch.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's being able, like, looking at it, like, getting the average Jew on our side. Like, that's why that Keelings thing was just like. My mind was blown completely.
Oh, fair play to Philip Dwyer from the National Party for sticking his neck out there and actually going there and doing his bit.
6-1 news. I've seen all the complaints about him being on the 6-1 news, and it's like, oh look, they upstaged the socialists. It's like they're actually fighting for the Irish worker here. They just couldn't.
They probably want this crowbar in. It's economical, structural racism. What we're doing.
Oh, it was great. It was great to see, like, because we're back to what Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael government again now, like,
Yeah.
After all this hoo-ha, about vote left, transfer left, and all, like, and that's where it got you, folks.
Well, saying that, I'm actually glad that's what we have now. That we actually are basically in a communist fucking lockdown now. Imagine what it'd be like with Sinn.
Yeah.
I'd be looking for my shoulder now, talking here, like,
Oh. Voluntary local enforcement police, Join the volunteers. Like. But, also, like, how, like, you have that Drew Harris, him saying, you have to discourage people from, breaking curfew and all, like, basically, ratting your neighbour, and then Leo going, oh no, don't actually rat your neighbour, but yourself. Yeah.
Well, I see
Paul McQueenie says Philip played a blinder. He actually did.
He did. It was excellent.
Like, the only blinder Varadkar's playing, it was throwing dirt in people's faces. That's all he was doing. Brutal stuff.
Yeah,
RAC commemoration after RAC commemoration. UN flags all over the place. That's a blinder there.
And he's gone back into his field, hasn't he? I'm going to steal this from you. We've got an Indian call center guy now.
Oh, no comment on that. Oh, Jesus. I don't know. You can take the bite out of wherever, but you can't take wherever out of the bite. But, yeah, sure. Like, what is he? Only a PR? Like, do you know, a PR face? That's like, there's no substance to him.
I don't think I couldn't even pin down what he actually believes. I think he's just a complete salesman, whatever's going to get him elected. And
oh, you neoliberal snake. That's what he is. The same as the whole lot of them. Same as Coveney. Same as the whole lot. Like, I remember thinking whenever Leo Varadkar got voted down by his own party, like, to be Taoiseach, that, Coveney might be better. And then Coveney, Jesus, he's as bad. Like, do you know what? Like rubbing shoulders, like with the Keelings and the Goodmans. Yeah. That's his circle. Like, sure, he's married to Larry Goodman's niece or whatever. Do you know?
Sure, Leo, you probably have better memory than me. Was he not groomed with some sort of Clinton Foundation in America? I can't remember the actual. We'll be more prepared the next time. Put it that way.
Oh, I think was that Noel Rock or something. He used to be under Hillary Clinton years ago.
Leo was definitely. He was in some American Clinton sort of foundation thing. I can't remember if it happened in my head though.
Right. Sure. There's that many of them at that crack. Like, do you know, the whole lot.
They're just groomed for these positions of power. Like.
Sure, that's it. Like, they're going to these prep schools and all, or these fancy schools down in Dublin. Like, you know, like Mary Lou, she went to one of them. Like, her parents sent her to this big, like, prestigious school. She wound up being like the debating champion or whatever. Like, and she suddenly jumped ship from Fianna Fáil and joined Sinn Féin and became the leader. Like, you know, it's. I
wonder. They're all basically the exact same. They're not really offering very much difference at all.
Yeah, Tweedledum, Tweedledee, as Sinn Féin used to say, and now they're Tweedledummer, I suppose. Maybe they've gone very quiet now since things happened. You know.
But it's so hard, still on the doorstep, to convince people what Sinn Féin's selling you. It's not Irish nationalism. It's not even close to that.
Yeah, but they have so much money behind them for this PR crack. Like like, you know, I would have spent time with Sinn Féin ones in the past, like, and they are shrewd. Like, you know, you can't deny. Like, you can call them whatever, but you can't call them Egypts. Like, you know, the boys at the top, they know what they're at. Like.
I mean, it was even smart in their last manifesto. They put something mild on there, hidden amongst all the pages, saying they're basically against mass immigration. And of course, they've done nothing.
Last 3 games, I mean, it's the Washington Ireland program. So that's the name of that. I'd love to see the list of names of that. And I tell you the truth, I'll be checking that out after. So
I must have a look at that again. Like, I forgot all about it. It just came back to my memory.
Sure now, like, it's such like a circle jerk of who's who, like, you know, it's crazy. Like, you remember them, like, big Illuminati spreads, like, you know, like, it's Bilderberg's connected to that.
Yeah, that's the thing. There is certain ones that are true and they're easy to prove, but if you keep spreading all these ones,
it's mental.
I'm gonna hurt a few people here, but the 5G one comes up a lot, and I can't prove it one way or another. But if I bring that up, I'm going to sound mental if I bring it up. The thing is, I turn on my TV every day. I know it works. There's no way I can explain to somebody how that actually works, though. I accept it works.
Like, you think about, like, during the election.
If I tell somebody on the street I've never met before that, he's not going to have a clue. He's just going to write me off straight away. Yeah, I tell him something like, Balahadreen, your town's been utterly changed in front of you against your will. He knows exactly what I mean straight away. Yeah. So you're kind of poisoning the well there. Now, I'll hold my hands up. Maybe I'm wrong on 5G. I don't know. I've not even really taken a position on it. I just don't bring it up. It's not worth bringing up.
Yeah, until I'm nearly, you know, I would consider myself well knowledgeable about it, that I can answer nearly anything about it. I'm not going to really go into it on the door, tell you the truth. Like,
yeah.
You know, unless I have some useful information that I think is worth sharing, I'm just going to stick to, well, you know, there's your pocket there. This is what I know about it. You know, there's your street. I know what. This is what I know about that. You know, because people, like, it was amazing the amount of people on doors. They'd knock on the door. What are you going to do for me? First question. You know, whenever they're like,
that's 5G master.
I remember chatting to a guy. He was a young fella, and he was getting hammered. Like he was working as a mechanic, like, and his
Yeah,
insurance was killing him. And he was there. All he wanted was the pavement outside his house tarred. That's all he wanted. He said, "I don't care." Like he's like, I have to. He's like, I'm working, living to work. Like
I
because
would have literally just done it
everything was
for him. It'd be that
living.
easy to do.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, do you know, like this is the thing. But this is why the county councils and before it could be at the same time the next election. Who knows? Like, but young people with energy, like, or anyone with energy that believes in getting this thing sorted, like they need to start thinking about, how can I fit in to this community in a way that I can be beneficial in organizing different projects, like to get things done. And
Yeah.
it might seem inconsequential at the time, but that's where the Shinners got their vote. That's where they came up. Like,
Oh yeah, yeah.
everything from helping people fill out forms to getting potholes fixed. That's how they are where they are today. Like, and obviously they sold themselves a bit in the meantime. Like, but you can't deny they're up there. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But obviously they're 100 years to do it. Like, we're kind of only getting going. Like, but this is how it's done. Like, all politics is local. So
It's simple things, but it's effective.
yeah, like, and whenever you're like, if you're sitting at a county council meeting, you're not going to start going on about the clergy pan.
No.
You're just not gonna, because you're just gonna be ignored. So just
Yeah.
just do that. That would be my opinion. Just talk about what you can do right here, right now, what you have. Like, that would be my idea.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was funny, actually, just on that topic. I was chatting to a guy. Well, I was passing by a guy earlier on. Like, I was like, "Oh, Jesus, great weather we're having." He was like, "Yeah, it's because there's no planes in the sky." I was like, "Oh," and like, this guy's, he wouldn't be a conspiracy theorist or nothing, like, but I just thought that was funny. Right?
Yeah, I mean, these people, they're right to question a lot of things. We are being fed so much bullshit, but there's a lot of people. They would send me videos like just show some dead birds and be a 5G mast beside it. That's okay. I admit that there's dead birds there, but I don't know if someone just poisoned the birds to make a video. I can't 100% say one way or the other. It's just a video. I don't know I don't even know who made the video.
Yeah. Or like, whenever someone like puts up a live stream of a cage full of canaries beside a 5G mast, I'll watch it. Or I might watch a recap of it. Like,
I'll pay pay-per-view to see that.
yeah, that's it. Like, 40-hour live stream. Like, we're gonna cook these birds.
Yeah, my cat wants a treat anyway. Like.
Oh no, like, but sure, this is it. Like even the arguments. Like, I get where people are coming from. It's kind of like, yeah, I can see that maybe you want more, testing on it. That's completely, yeah. That's like, more testing better. Like, nearly in every walk of life, more testing is better. But to be making these outlandish claims and having nothing to back them up except a dodgy YouTube
in fairness,
video,
I'll play devil's advocate here. There is quite a few countries that has banned it.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think a lot of the reasons we're getting a lot of this information about it, negative information, is because it's going to replace all the other, broadbands. It's going to replace a lot of things. And it is a Chinese company again. And I go back to Ian Duncan Smith bringing up basically kind of saying what I've been saying for a while. This is kind of a smokescreen, possibly. The reset the financial system to zero. Well, he actually brought up 5G, saying it was dangerous. I've never heard a politician say it before, but he only said it now because of COVID-19.
Yeah, well, like, on that, right? Like, you look at someone pointed out to me, like, South Korea is leading the way on this,
right?
And they, like, according to their, like, you got to maybe believe the South Koreans, but looking at their COVID numbers and all that kind of stuff, they seem reliable to me anyway, on at least some health issues. So, like, South Korea, they've been trialing 5G. They haven't in Seoul, the capital city, for the last number of years, and they can't see any like big spike in health related issues. I think, and yeah, you could say maybe in 20 years' time, people might start getting epilepsy out of it or something. But it's like, like, the chances of that seem low to me. Like, personally. Yeah. But then again, as you're saying, on the security issue, definitely, like, that is like, in my mind, that's definitely worth looking into, because you have companies like Tencent that own shares in in Snapchat, like, and people talking about biometrics coming in, and that would be a concern of mine because, like, the Chinese are probably the most famous group in the world for data theft. Like, so basically, like, you think about all the stored biometric data of face cams that Snapchat has access to. Imagine if China has that, which it isn't outside the realms of possibilities. Like whenever they start bringing in this social credit system, like, which they could, it looks likely to me anyway. Like, that's a big concern.
Do
really.
you think the 350 week new dole could be based on that?
Geez, that's a good question. I didn't even think of that. Yeah, that's an interesting one. What do you think about that yourself?
Well, again, I think one of the main reasons we have a relatively high dole in Ireland anyway. If that stops all dissent, and when people see a direct provision coming in, it is going to threaten the jobs in there. It's threatening your ability to run the housing market. But if they're getting a high dole, especially now it's going to be 350 a week, they're not going to rise up against that. They're not going to go against. So in a way, Leo is playing a blinder doing that. Massive crisis here, but well, you're out of work. You're getting almost the same money, maybe more money than you would get otherwise. So, is it to do with the credit, social credit? I haven't looked enough into that though.
I suppose what you're saying is it's kind of a novel twist on the bread and circuses in a free market economy. Like, you can buy your own bread and circuses. Here's some money, like.
It's basically buttering us up so we don't riot in a way. I think, from what I can see so far. Yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying on what I was on about saying on the doors. Like, there's your pocket. This is what I know about it. That kind of thing. And yeah, that would definitely, if they could pull that off, that would definitely limit dissent, like, and unhappiness in the country. But you see, there's so many knock-on effects from that. Like, obviously with the fiat currency system, so they could technically just keep printing forever. But with the real world economy the way it is, I don't know. Maybe they do have a plan for this. What was it? I think it was Critique said in a stream very recently that the current $350 a week is going to cost something like he said it's going to be $1 billion over. Was it a month or was it more than that?
Oh, I seen that. It was $5 billion for 3 months.
I mean, that's insane numbers. But then nobody really cares about our national debt anyway. It is just put future generations.
It's beer tokens. That's like, at the end of the day, like, unless there's something backing it up, like, believing in the currency is so unstable. Like that's how you end up with these markets, like, surges and collapses. Like,
we know for a fact though they'll never ever pay off that 21 billion debt now. I think it is. That's never been paid off. So, like, I have slight theory. This is what this thing. It's a real virus. It's real. I have a family member caught it. But I think this is just going to be used just to possibly wipe that out. I've seen in the shops already. Prices seem to have gone up by like a third for like basic items, like a pizza or something.
Right. I haven't seen that.
Has anybody noticed that price? Not just in local shops. This is in the big supermarkets too.
Oh, I stocked up back in January. I'm still running off the staples from then. Like, so it's
I'm eating sardines for the next year.
But then, like, even then, outside Ireland, not going too far outside of it, like, but you have so many other games being played. Like, you had Russia and Saudi Arabia fighting each other about oil, and suddenly it's down to $20 a barrel. It's a good time to fill up the heat and tank anyway. Definitely, I think. But it's just so unstable at the minute. Like I often kind of subscribe to this thought that you have the American dollar, like the world reserve currency, and it is getting weaker, obviously, gradually. Like, and that there's going to be a pole shift. Like, I'm going on what economists or whatever are saying. Like, but there's going to eventually be a pole shift to like a kind of a multipolar world of China, Russia, and the US. Like, it's going to kind of divide into an east and west thing again, which it's probably well above my pay grade to be thinking about that. Like, but it's kind of like the effects of that on a place like Ireland, like as part of the EU, say, where during the Greek financial crisis you had China buying up ports in Piraeus, whatever you call it, in Greece, and then Greece suddenly vetoing all these anti-Chinese legislations. Like, it's like I don't know. That's a bit hairy. Like,
In the next year, the EU is going to be really hit hard because, well, the UK, they've left. They were a massive net contributor. We're one of the few net contributors left, so I don't know what's going to happen with that now. Like, hopefully, the
yeah, we can barely keep ourselves going. Never mind anyone else. Like,
that's insane.
so,
Like, we're always been a poor country anyway. It's an artificial richness now, if you can call it that.
yeah, like the GDP's inflated by companies like Facebook and all this money that's moving through the country rather than actually, moving through the real economy. Like it's just going through paper. So I don't know. Like you look at Italy and stuff. Like Italy was in a bad way before this started, and like hopefully, what I'm thinking is Salvini's going to get an absolute landslide. There could be.
They're burning the EU flags everywhere in Italy, as they should. Like,
yeah.
Of course, well, in the middle of this crisis here, all the countries coming together. He's hoisting a monstrosity that is the EU or the UN flag. Actually, I should say, for while reading their proclamation. I mean,
on Easter, it's like Jesus, mother of God. How tone deaf. Like he clearly means it because nobody's that stupid. Like, like, nobody that even had heard about
the Irish electorate. So I don't know.
Oh, it's nuts. Like it's nuts. I unbelievable. Like,
what did you make about commemorating the black and tans? I find that very, very suspicious that he did it, but he knew he was calling an election, and just Sinn Féin were dead and buried at that point.
Yeah,
the last council,
Charlie Flanagan, he breaks the mold when it comes to the phrase "the apple doesn't far fall from the tree" because he must have right off the edge of the cliff because he was nowhere near where his father was. Nowhere, he was not in the same postcode. Like, it's unbelievable. Like, Jesus, Oliver J. Everyone used to love him around here. Like, nobody voted for him, obviously, like, but they loved him. So I don't know, like the RAC. It's just amazing. Like I can. There's a field near my house, like where the RAC shot dead 2 priests about 100 years ago.
Jesus.
Like it's like the look. We still remember that. Like,
of course, that's still going to be in generations. Well, not hundreds, but 20, 30 people. Their descendants will be living in that town now.
Yeah, that's it. Like it's the same people, the same family farming that field now as it was back then. Like they never ploughed that bit of ground ever again. They used to plant spuds now.
Who did they vote for when they were at the election?
Oh, jeez, probably the Shinners, I'd say, around here. It was very heavy, It's a bit of a landslide.
I remember watching at the time thinking, oh, for fuck's sake, that's every nationalist fuck in the election. Like.
Yeah, no, I tell you the truth, like, it was a topsy-turvy ride, the last election, like, but overall, looking back, it was positive. I can find a hell of a lot more positives than negatives.
Yeah, I mean, they called it, they give people 3 weeks to get ready. If you're a new party, say the National Party, that means you've got to get it printed. That means you have to print en masse. So you've got like 2 weeks really to get your thing ready. And you got to sell. This is a new party, so you've got to really sell the doorstep.
But you're training people on the ground too, like, the Shinners. I was meeting Shinners there that, like, they've been in 10 plus elections, like they know it in like 10 dull elections, like they know it inside out, back to front. It's we were trying to, like, train up a few people, get them doing certain jobs, all that kind of crack, trying to get everyone organized at the same time to do the same thing or different job at the same time. And it was an immense ask, like, but for what we had, the time we had, we done great. I'm not, saying it was good enough. Like, but what I'm saying is that it gives me hope, like a lot of hope.
The thing is, if we had more people active, there was so much more you could have done. But everybody was so thinly stretched. They had to cover so much ground. There was so little time. You can only do so much.
But like even now, if there was groups that had run the candidate that had no real political experience to work off at all, like, we have a baseline now, and there is experience there. There's other people that can use their experience, and it's tactics. It's all about voter management. It's all about going for certain areas, finding where your where you're most likely to get a good reception. All these kind of things are going to come into play now. Like first election, yeah, blanket statement, just all over the place. Next election, we work towards building. Like, you know, we're still building.
Ironically, despite what we said earlier on, one of the easiest votes I won when I came to the door, I said, well, this is what we're going to do here. And he said, well, what are you going to do about 5G? I thought, well, I fucking know this inside out. I've heard so fucking much about it. I was able to sell it them about like.
Oh, sure. It's like, I see. This is the thing. Like, I could talk for hours about 5G, like, but you know, I'm not really qualified to talk about it at the same time. You know, which is the problem. But
that's the thing. The best expert in the world could talk for hours about it, but he wouldn't get any votes for it.
No, that's the thing. Like
anybody who's into 5G, they're going to vote that regardless. You don't need to sell that to them.
But on the flip side of that too, like if the best expert in the world was talking about 5G and running an election, the ones that are, you know, mad about 5G the most wouldn't vote for him because they wouldn't believe him. Do you know? Yeah. So it's kind of like, what do you do there? Like,
I'm not like I say, I'm not dismissing it. Let's say it's 100% true now. If you want to get into power, do something about it. Well, talking about it, that's the last thing you want to do. You want to get into power, then you can do something about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like talking about 5G whenever this Keeling stuff was going on, it was just like, that's kind of trying my patience. Like, you know, like I don't mean that in a harsh way or anything, but it was kind of, it was like, come on, just come push the wheel for a bit. Like, give us a bit of rest.
As Irish nationalists now, this is a major opportunity for us. I'm the National Party. And by the way, anybody listen, join the National Party, join us. We are the party. And why win this mess? Because they did not close the fucking borders.
Yeah.
What was it, deadly Ireland rugby game? In the middle of this, Italy was losing close to like 600 a day at the time, and we still sent people over there. We're an island. This should have been so easy to sort out, though.
And so I think what was it, 2,000 or 3,000 Italians landed, like, you know, in the place in lockdown over there. Like, it was just
everybody
like,
who's there from the virus now. I'd say, well, like 70% has probably contributed to that.
Oh, sure, this is it. Like, and then you had then other people that was coming back, like the one of the first cases in Clare, and they didn't self-isolate. They weren't advised to self-isolate, and it was like, how basic do you have to get here? Like, you know, the guy was a healthcare professional himself, like, and it was just like, what? I don't know. It is a clown country. Like, it's a banana republic, no matter what way you can skin it. Like, but it's a case of, you know, people are only human too. Like, I don't think the chief medical officer Holohan, I don't think he's doing a good job, but you can see that I think he's trying to, but he's just not able. Like,
who was the German finance minister? I don't know if it was for the whole Germany or just a region, but he actually committed suicide in the last few weeks, specifically because of this.
I heard that. I didn't look into it much though, but yeah.
I'm terrible for telling you news. I just skim a headline.
I should the same, but sure, we know the general overarching principle. Like, you know, sure, it was the same in South Korea. The health minister, he jumped out a window or something. Like, you know, he got rid of himself. So it's definitely a high stakes game, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, obviously Korea would have a bit more of a kind of a culture leading towards Japan and all that crack than Western Europe, like. But
what is your average deaths now from it?
Where in Korea?
Just in Ireland at the moment.
I'll bring it up on the screen there. It's Jesus, we're up to about 500 and something now, aren't we?
Tell me this though, can we get the same stats for just the basic flu?
Good question. There was a guy.
I wondered about this actually. I know, because I want to play devil's advocate again as well. A lot of people are saying, well, they're putting these all together. So I'm curious if we can see both at the same time.
Yeah, I seen that, but I seen a graph too that Gabha Gael put up, and it has.
I like to see you using DuckDuckGo, not Google. Hashtag.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm not that far removed from 5G, like, you know. That's Ireland. I'm typing with one hand here, so excuse my terrible slowness here. My internet's also not fantastic either. Like, you're probably cutting in and out while things is loading. 5G might actually be a benefit up here because we're so far out in the sticks anyway. There's that many.
I'm still getting TV free with a coat hanger.
Oh jeez, it's hard to beat. Uh, let's see now. I don't know what year this is from, but sure we'll see it. Irish Times, so you know you can trust it. Questionable statements being made here.
I find it very hard to find these stats. Like,
Yeah, right, this last year, January 2019. So let's see now. That's only this year. 60 to 120 deaths each year. But
that's the whole year.
300. Yeah, but 300 to 400 others died from indirectly. So that'll be like the COVID. So you'd be looking at what? Somewhere between 360 and 570 deaths. Like,
so we're a few thousand there, are we? Or what are we at the moment?
So or 500, or just at 570. Where is it?
We're not miles off it then. Or at the same time, man.
570 more.
But that's a whole year. This is only a few months.
Yeah, yeah. This is the thing. Like, you know, when like kind of the way I'm thinking is that we could be hitting a peak pretty soon. I think the CMO is kind of agreeing with that. But I think last Gael as well, he was on about that there could be a case of it being underreported.
Yeah.
So,
well, if we've more deaths in these few months, but that kind of confirms it is real anyway. How bad it is, well,
yeah.
But I think it seems pretty bad.
It's you know, even if you can kind of broad sweeping statement say it is just flu, like it's still a kind of a case of, well, do you really want to be putting that pressure on? You know, like, it's a tough one. Like, personally, I think it was the lockdown was a good idea. This is my thinking. The lockdown was a good idea. It was done way too late. It should have been late January, early.
Well, they should have shut the borders straight away.
And I think Paul McQueenie said that in the chat as well. I think that was a way back there.
The airports, why? I don't know why they were still going. It's a no-brainer, really. Like.
Yeah. Oh, it's mental. They cancelled mass and GA matches, and the airports are still open.
Yeah, it's funny. Just, they couldn't do that with the penal laws. We still had the mass rocks, but they can do it with us, just like that. Ironically, what was it? We could go 5 miles with the penal laws. We can go 2K now.
Yeah. It's like, even the Brits couldn't enforce this. Like. So it's it's a tough one. Oh yeah, Chopper saying the CMO, that's the circle check scandal guy as well, Holland. He was the one that covered that up, like, so that's who we have in charge at the moment, like. So yeah, maybe he's not trying his best. Maybe he's just raking in the cash. That could be the.
I suppose there's a stat we need to look into while we're on this. What about the Sweden stat? Because they've left their borders pretty much open. They've got.
Good question. Actually, I haven't checked Sweden in a while. See, I was following it. I was following this stuff at the start, and then I just was like, do you know what? This is a mess, and I just stopped. Well, they've deaths. They've total deaths 1,511.
I'll play devil's advocate again. I know some people are going to argue that the way to register the deaths are different in each country. So I'll hope that.
Yeah, like, sure, even China now has changed theirs a couple of times. Like, you know, at first there were only people that tested positive with
China's numbers, they just look obscene. They're really underplaying it, because I think we're worse than China if you actually look at it.
Sure, they even think about it. Like, they have the ability basically to shut down your life, like if you act up too much with the social credit system. So getting information out is difficult. Like, at the start, I was kind of relying on, like, there was your man that died, the doctor. What was his name? Liang.
I know the guy you're on about. Yeah.
Like, it was him at the start, like, and he kind of got the ball rolling. But then I had to rely on people like ADV China, great channel, and Serpent ZA and all these like them fellas, Lao Wei, and like they were some of the best sources of information going on this, like at the very beginning. And then of course then you had Peak Prosperity and MedCram going through all the different stats data, what was transpiring, like. And at the start, it was so sketchy. Like, nobody knew anything really. Like, it was just, right, there's something happening. It's like SARS. How bad is this going to get? Like, and it's like, right, well, right there. Okay, there's a major problem. We're going to do a couple of checks here, and if things aren't okie dokie, we're going to start at least scanning at airports.
Yeah.
Do you know, and yet we had
Doesn't
Simon
happen here at
Harris. Yeah, we had Simon Harris saying, no, we need to have free movement. No, it doesn't work if you scan.
He really
them.
needs to be held accountable for that, because I mean,
look
at us now, for Christ's sake.
It's like having a junior cert. Like even the look of him, it's like having a junior cert student up running the fucking American military or something. It's like what in the name of God? Like it's like a cow on a roof. It's like you don't know how it got there. It's just I can't believe it. Like the state, the absolute state of our whatever about the healthcare workers doing their best, but Jesus, they are not getting an easy job handed to them. Like by the crowd that's running it. Like a couple of pencil pushers.
It's the new religion's more important. It's worship in the GDP. It's more important than the average Joe Schmo's life, apparently.
Yeah, this is it. Like they were going to just that's what I couldn't understand. Like Boris was getting a hammering because he said, right, we're going to let it blow through, and like Varadkar then making Terminator quotes and quotings, all this kind of crack. And it was like, but he's doing the exact same thing. Like he's just saying it differently. Like there was no difference. And yet Leo was playing a blinder. All the blinder bots going mental.
Nonsense. Like, well, I mean, there's an argument the whole lockdown thing is just let's just hold back from the inevitable. But well, you're buying time for a vaccine. Well, I don't know if people want to take a vaccine or.
Well, I don't think I'd bother. Hey, I think I'd be all right myself. Like.
Yeah, we're young enough. We'll get away with it. Like, but no, but I think that's the argument they've taken amongst themselves, that they don't really expect this to really make a difference. Once the lockdown's called off, it's just going to go back to square one again.
Yeah, the thing is, if the way that I heard it explained to me, is that it's going to be a stay or a kind of gradually repealed lockdown, which makes sense, because. Personally, I think hardware shops should still be considered essential, to keep rural Ireland going, basically, because people need material to keep doing anything around here, even farmers and stuff like that. A lot of material is just not available at the minute, and you're getting letters and everything sent out to try and get a bit of material. It's just how can you expect that? That's the same. If you have a shed,
it would just be simple things too.
Yeah, but say even sheets of iron, right? I've been whinging about sheets of iron for about a month. I want to get sheets of corrugated iron. But it's say now, if the weather just turned terrible and the fields just went sodden, I'd have to put my cattle back inside. But what's the point? Because the roof is wrecked. They're just going to get soaking in there anyway and end up with fucking tuberculosis. So it's like, how am I considered an essential worker? It's like not given, maybe not as an extreme version, but it's similar to not giving a nurse or doctor gloves, to do their job safely.
I mean, I'm still seeing vape shops open. Are they really that essential?
They are not. Are they?
I don't smoke, so I don't care. Fuck them.
Jesus, that's brutal. Fucking hell.
But
the offices are open anyway.
Well, yeah, I'm drinking here now at the moment. So. But another question. I don't see a lot of people bring it up. We've lost so many freedoms over this. Will we get them all back afterwards? I mean, 9/11 was over 20 years ago. We still have to go through. I like that noise. We still have to go through and pretty much get sexually harassed just going through the airport now.
It's mad when you think back. In the year 2000, you could carry a blade of less than 3 inches on a plane with you.
Well, the funny thing, actually, I'll be honest. Since I was 14, I used to go to London a lot, and I was pulled in by special branch all the time because I had a Bobby Sands look about me in my passport, and that's just stopped since 9/11. It's fantastic. I don't know why. I must have got. I just became a better person.
All of a sudden, Jesus. So you're on about the freedoms, and the thing is that I have a kind of a mixed feeling on that too. Is that it's the freedoms. There's certain ones that. I suppose it's a bit of a mixed bag. There's a lot of freedoms that are kind of I don't know. I think they might have too much stock placed in them, maybe, or something. I don't know how best to phrase that. But it's kind of people now are getting back to basics, and getting used to a proper family life again. That I could see anyway, and I think it's to my mind it's great. Obviously there's drawbacks to that too, but say worst case scenario. we're stuck inside until this time next year. Like, nobody's going to really mind spending time with their family after that. Like, whereas before it was kind of a case of everyone was kind of.
I don't know. I reckon there'll be quite a few divorces. There'll be a massive spike in divorce.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Like, but sure, if it's made to last, it'll last. Like, but if it was a bad choice, it's a bad choice.
Drunkenly beating up the wife. Don't even get me through this.
Well, that's the thing. Like, I think that's why they considered the offies essential. Like, was that imagine like somebody drinks every night of the week, not have a drink, and stuck in like that'd be worse again. So like, I can see the logic in considering that, because that would be terrible. Like, but anyways, hopefully it's not happening too much. I haven't seen any data with it. Like, so, but what's going on a bit.
You would think so. Like, cause like most people, well, there's quite a lot of people that would finish work and they might only see their partner with a few hours a day.
Yeah, that's it. It's not like a business arrangement. Some of them, I do think at times. Do you know?
Yeah.
it's a bit weird. But like, you think of it a lot of things too. Like on the stats, like men are nearly as likely, well, maybe not as likely, but very close to being as likely to be the ones getting abused. Like,
yeah, it's always underreported that. Like, the stats are there, like, but.
Like, the guards would land up. Like, I would want to imagine if that happened. Like, I could imagine a guard saying, "How would you get out of that?" Like, I easily could remember that. I could easily think that would happen. Like,
yeah, it's a strange thing, anyway. Anyway, will we start winding it down a bit? Will we?
Yeah, no problem at all. Like,
geez, we got over an hour anyway. It's not too bad. Like, I might re-upload this to my own channel too, but so if anybody's watched this on my channel, watch your channel so I can promote you here and tell them to fly over
there. No matter. I'm not going to say like, share and subscribe like everybody else, but
I hate people doing that. I hate
yeah, no matter. Right, so we'll call her there anyway. We'll get you back on sometime. We'll have another chat.
Yeah, I've done it for you. I've done the dirty work.
Good man.
Right on, man.
Good chat. Yeah, all the best.